South Florida, and welcome back to this edition of WDNA's Frost Jazz Hour right here on WDNA's 88.9 FM, the home of Sirius Jazz. I'm your host, Marcello Corelli. It's nice to be sitting at the drum chair while hosting today, and I'm here with two very special people. That's Maxwell Schwartz on the bass from Berkeley, California, and Tim Watson on guitar from Lexington, Massachusetts. These are my two friends and colleagues, part of the Stamps Jazz Quintet, but it's only trio for safety reasons, obviously. So we're happy to be here playing some music for you. We're not going to do too much talking this week because I know our viewers, we really just want to hear some music after all. So, we're gonna start off with actually a composition of mine that I wrote while being home in quarantine for a bunch of months, and I thought it'd be fitting to write a tune because there's not too much going on when you're just sitting at home for months. So I called this one Nothing to Do Blues, and we're going to start with that one. And then after that, we're going to play a tune by Steve Swallow entitled Falling Grace. So enjoy the Stamps Jazz Trio. Thank you so much for listening. This is WDNA's Frost Jazz Hour right here on 88.9 FM, the home of Serious Jazz. You've been listening to the Stamps Jazz Trio, featuring myself, Marcello Corelli, Maxwell Schwartz on bass, and Timothy Watson on guitar. We started with a tune of mine titled Nothing to Do Blues, and then we followed that with a Steve Swallow, beautiful Steve Swallow tune entitled Falling Grace. That's always such a beautiful tune to play. I always, I learn a lot every time I play that one. Yeah, Max, I wanted to start with you. And thanks for being here and for playing our what probably is our final Stamps radio show.
Yeah, I suppose so.
It's kind of crazy.
I want to say, like, we do one of these every semester. This might be our 8th one that we've done.
Yeah,
8th and
so.
final.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah.
But, happy to be here playing with both of you. And so the first thing I wanted to ask is, because we're finishing up here, we're graduating in the spring here in May. What kind of things do you have planned for afterwards? Because I know you have a lot of hidden talents that not a lot of people know about that you'd like to show to the world.
Well, yeah, I like to. I just feel like this time in a young person's life is a good time to accumulate all the skills you think you might want to put to use in your profession, in your professional life, because what's better than doing something you want to be doing, something you love for your career? That's like a dream come true. And I like a lot of things, so it makes it a little bit easier, I would like to think, than just having one thing that I enjoy. So in addition to like being a player, I really love research, and I've been doing a lot of research, and I've started taking some master's courses at UM in the jazz pedagogy program, which Dr. Chuck Bergeron runs. Yep. And a lot of that research is helping to sort of inform how I would hope to be a jazz professor. So actually at the moment I'm working on like a 3-part paper, 3 papers altogether that sort of are looking at the origins of the recorded music industry and jazz, and sort of how the birth of our recorded music industry was essentially, to sum up 3 papers worth of stuff into a single phrase, basically on the backs of jazz musicians in the 1920s that the recorded music industry came to be the way that it is. So I'm sort of looking at all this research from that, writing papers, and creating what I hope will be the curriculum of my jazz pedagogy career. Yeah. So it's fun.
That's great, man. Yeah. And speaking of recording, I know you've been really getting into doing some recording from your house. Kind of doing a little home studio thing, and I've been on a couple recordings you've mixed and engineered, and then also you're doing something for a church. You're the head mixer for
I've been the sound engineer at St. Thomas Episcopal Church down on Red Road and 88th Street. I guess since I was a sophomore, so about 3 years that I've been working there. So I work for the choir. So Dr. Gene Greco is the music director there. So I record their stuff, and I record for the contemporary band, which is called 40 Days, like 40 Days and Nights of Noah's Ark. Oh, yeah. So Alex Brandenburg is also in that group. So yeah, I've been doing that stuff, and working on recording actually a band that I formed at UM with some other UM students. We're working on a record right now, and Steve Guerra is producing that record, and we're going to be recording it in the Week studio right at the end of the semester during reading days. So what do music students do at their reading days? You go in the studio. So
definitely.
Yeah, so working on that stuff. So working on my songwriting, and especially for that group, which is called Everwild. It's kind of a weird instrumentation, very distant from a lot of the stuff we're doing today. So it's kind of cool to be adding that to my musical Swiss Army knife, as I like to call it.
Yeah, man. No, I mean that's great. I've heard some of the stuff that you've done, man, and it's really, really killing.
Thank you.
So, but we look forward to hearing some of that recording. I know, speaking of recording, we're going to be coming out with a record as a quintet, the Stamps Quintet. We're kind of working on picking takes and that whole process and getting a cover and all that, We did put out a record our freshman year entitled Blue Paint. I believe it's on streaming services, but buy a CD and let us know if you want an actual copy, because we have tons of CDs sitting in our professor's office. But great, man. And also, I wanted to ask you about, because your experience, 4 years in Stamps, I'm sure there were a few cool highlights from those 4 years. What would you say is something that would stick with you from these 4 years?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot. I mean, we probably went on, I don't know, 6 or 7 sort of big trips. We went to California, went to New Orleans twice, we went to Suriname once, we went to Italy once. And there were more trips that were supposed to happen that didn't. But I would say that the Italy trip is a highlight for me. But also the California trip, I'll say, because I'm from California and because we got to stay at my house and you guys got to see sort of what I'm about as a person and the community that I come from, and bring your music there to my high school, which was really cool. And we were playing at the Next Generation Jazz Festival, which is sort of a high school and collegiate. It's really designed as a competition, but if you're from there, it's more of like just a big hang, and you get some feedback from some very great musicians on how to put your music together and how to sort of take your musicianship to the next level. So I grew up going to that festival since I was in like the 6th grade. So it was a big deal for me to have my college group that I play in from Miami go fly out there and play at that festival, and just bring the music that we had been working on. We were playing mostly music from the first record, if I remember correctly, because we were sophomores at the time. But that was a huge deal for me, just to sort of bring the college group back to where I grew up. So it was a big deal to me.
Yeah, it's great. No, it's great out there in Monterey, Berkeley, and that was just so many great educational opportunities and performance opportunities over these 4 years. We couldn't thank the Stamps Foundation enough for everything, and the new group's going to be coming in soon, so look out for them. Some other talented young musicians will be coming up through the UM curriculum, but yeah, thank you for talking with me for a short while. I'm looking forward to making music with you for the rest of this semester, and it's been a great run.
Hopefully after that too. We'll see. But
yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I just wanted to add also to that California trip. Since I've lived in the Bay Area, or before this, I lived in the Bay Area for so long, and I realized that there were a lot of places I saw on that trip that I'd never been to before, that are literally miles from my house, but not too far. And thanks to Chuck Bergeron, I tried Chipino for the first time, which was right across the water from my house, and I never, felt the need to go check it out. And
explain to the viewers what Chipino is.
Chipino is an Italian. It's kind of like a seafood soup in a way. I don't know if an Italian person would describe it that way, but it's essentially all of the things that a fisherman would catch during the day, and they put it all together in one big bowl. Very expensive, very tasty bowl.
It's amazing. It's amazing.
Yeah, but it's apparently sort of a San Francisco Italian food delicacy that I had never been into. And Chuck Bergeron said, if we're going to the Bay Area, we got to try Chipino. You're like, okay, great. So anyway, yeah, it's just nice to explore with this band even close to home.
Sure. Well, yeah, man. And hopefully more trips of those to follow even after college and everything. But thanks for talking with us. We unfortunately have run out of time in the first half, but we will take a short break for about a few minutes, and we'll be right back right here on WDNA's 88.9 FM, the home of Serious Jazz. We'll be right back. welcome back to this edition of the Frost Jazz Hour right here on WDNA's 88.9 FM, the home of Serious Jazz. Once again, I'm your host, Marcello Corelli. If you've just started tuning in, we are here with the Stamps Jazz Trio. I'm here kind of playing both roles, the host and drummer role. And I'm happy to be doing it with my friends and colleagues here, Max Schwartz on bass and Tim Watson on guitar from the Stamps Jazz Quintet. We wish we could have David and Jared with us, the trumpet and trombone players in our group. But, you know, they're with us in spirit and everything. And so we played a few tunes to start off, but we're going to start off with a Cole Porter tune entitled I Love You. So enjoy. That was Cole Porter's I Love You, done by the Stamps Trio. We're going to continue with, I believe, a composition by our guitarist, Tim Watson. This is if I'm saying it correctly, it was kind of inspired by this rhythm that we all learned in a rhythm synchronicity class we took with the great Daphnis Prieto, who's on our faculty full time now. And he teaches a rhythm synchronicity class, and he also has recorded a number of records with his Daphnis Prieto's sextet. And I believe one of those records includes a tune called Ilu Ili. Yeah.
So, I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
No, definitely. Tim, yeah, expand upon it.
Yeah, well, he taught this rhythm to us in class, and it influenced me a lot just because it was something, I was being presented with something I really couldn't do. And so I sort of took it upon myself to actually figure it out. And I practiced it for like long after the class was over, and so now I feel like the rhythm's a bit a part of my musical DNA. So I wanted to write something that would use it in a way that I enjoy and that feels true to me. So
Thanks, Tim. Yeah, definitely. And it's a lot of fun to play. And I think the rhythm that he's using it's usually a cycle of a few variations on the rhythm, and I believe this is only using two of those or one of those variations and the original rhythm.
yeah.
Awesome. So we're gonna play. I forget what do you call in this one?
I called it a variation. Let's see, variations on or a corruption of Ilu Ili, which is the name of the song by Daphnis that I stole the rhythm from.
All right, let's do it. Thanks for listening. That was a Tim composition modeled after the Daphnis Prieto composition Ilu Ili. And yeah, so Tim, welcome to the show again.
Thank you. It's a pleasure. Yeah.
Yeah, man.
It's so cool that you're the host now. Yeah.
It's cool, man. You know, I'm enjoying it, and it's even more fun and relaxing when I get to play and do it at the same time.
Yeah,
man.
that's a vibe for sure. Yeah.
So yeah, man. But I heard you just had your senior recital, man. I heard it really went well. What are your takeaways from that, man?
Oh, thanks. Well, yeah, no, I mean, I had a really good time. I mean, my takeaways are if you get your most killing best friends who can read anything, and if you mess up, will help you get out of the situation. Yeah, my takeaway is if you get those people to play for you, you'll have a very good time, and the music will turn out pretty nicely.
Definitely.
And that was one of the songs that we played on that recital, and
Yeah.
I wrote it like, honestly, like sort of late at, my recital was last Friday. I wrote it like late at night on Wednesday, just like, God, I got to write this tune. And then everyone sort of, including me, ended up liking it more than all the other ones. So it's funny how that goes, you know.
It is.
Sometimes that's really just, you know, the things you slave over don't turn out as amazing as you hoped. And the things that you just sort of, you know, you just create haphazardly end up being kind of nice. So
Yeah, definitely. Like I've been in that situation. You write a tune in like a day or two, and you don't really mean to. You don't think it'll be as profound as like the rest of your tunes are impacting on your musicianship. But I mean, this is a great tune, man. So
thanks. Yeah. Challenging to play trio, but certainly fun. You guys
Yeah.
did a great job. Yeah.
Oh man, thanks. So yeah, who were some of the guys on there? I know some of the guys are alumni of UM. Yeah.
Well, yeah, so we had Marty Quinn on bass, who was a master's student, amazing bass player. Gib Mandish on drums, also a master's student back in the day. Yeah, amazing drummer. And David Snyder, who's in the Stamps Quintet, and I really had him working hard playing these crazy synth keyboard patches and going back between trumpet and keyboard. But he really did an excellent job. So
That's great. Yeah, I think you can go back and watch the recital, right? I believe.
certainly, yeah. I think if you Google Timothy Watson recital or something, you can watch it. But I mean, that's your prerogative.
Yeah, man. No, I mean, I'm sure it's up there somewhere on the Frost YouTube page. Usually they keep some of those recitals
I
up
think so, yeah.
on their page and everything. But great, and I'm glad that went well.
Thank you.
And I'm sure you're relieved with everything, and now you can.
Oh my God, yeah.
Yeah. So what I believe we talked about it on the last show that you guys were on, but what I think you're going to be doing a TA ship here at Frost next year. Right?
Yeah. I managed to get the gig to TA for my current teacher, John Hart, who is, you know, the man, amazing guitar player, great teacher, and yeah, I'm excited to show some younger kids some killing recordings. So.
Yeah, man.
And I'm studying classical composition.
Oh
so,
yeah. So how long have you been getting into classical composition? Because that's really interesting, man.
Yeah. Well, it's something I I mean, I always had liked the music ever since I heard like atonal music when I was in high school, and just being like, God, like I hate the way this sounds, but like I've never heard anything like it. And then sort of, gradually getting into more stuff. I mean, I love Debussy and Ravel more than anything. It's like, that stuff's sort of in my blood or whatever at this point. And then over the past year, especially during coronavirus, I thought, this is the time to take things seriously. I'm going to try to learn like do what we all did with jazz, which is just learn as many recordings as you can, as many different artists, and understand what makes them unique, and just trying to do all that work, and studying with a composer who lives in Belgium, which I've learned a lot from him, gotten hip to some like European new music that I would never heard otherwise. So yeah, I've been having a wonderful time learning about that stuff.
Awesome, man. Well, we look forward to hearing some of your compositions in the future.
Thank you. Yeah,
man.
they're very noisy. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thanks for being with us, Tim. And we're gonna continue with some more music. Which one? What are we gonna play?
I think it's our last one because we only got
Yeah, In Walked Bud, right?
minutes we got. Dang. Time goes by. Yeah. We're gonna do this this tune entitled "In Walked Bud," and Thelonious Monk composed this one. So thank you again for tuning in, and tune in again next week for another great student group that I'm not too sure of yet. But you've been listening to WDNA's Frost Jazz Hour on 88.9 FM. Have a great rest of your day. Thank you, everyone. Have a great rest of your day. That was the Stamps Jazz Trio. See you next week.